The Met Police has apologised to the family of the man whose shooting helped trigger last summer's riots for failing to notify them of his death. 29-year-old Mark Duggan was shot by officers at Tottenham in North London. Just days later, protests outside the local police station turned violent, quickly spreading across London and to other cities. Sky's David Bowden reports.
The riots of last summer, which saw cities across England looted and burned, began here in Tottenham in the aftermath of the police shooting dead Mark Duggan. It wasn't the killing itself which brought the local community onto the streets, but the police's refusal to deal with the Duggan family's questions about what happened to Mark. Today, police apologised, and the IPCC said they got it wrong.
The Metropolitan Police Service has apologised to the family for the way in which Mr Duggan's parents became aware of his death. And I have told them how very sorry I am that the IPCC did not provide more support to them, nor visit them the day after Mr Duggan's death.
This is Mark and Mark,
yeah. Right? And that's Mark
and Marlon when they were younger.
Mark Duggan's family says the police's failure to tell them he was dead compounded their grief. His partner Simone left the scene of the shooting convinced he was still alive.
I didn't think it was Mark. Even when I gave him the birth certificate, because I thought if it was Mark, they would have said to me there and then, yeah, it's Mark. But because they didn't say that, I just had that doubt in my head, it's not Mark. Because obviously I'm thinking, they're the authorities, their duty is to say, well, yeah, it's Mark Duggan that's been shot, murdered. But because they didn't deliver that news to me at the point, I just didn't think it was him.
Community leader Stafford Scott is a close family friend. He believes there's more to the police failure to tell the family than simply a mistake.
It's not just that the family wasn't informed, it's about the misinformation that was put out there as well, that there was a shootout. These were the issues that suddenly got to the heart of the community, made the community believe that an injustice was about to happen in front of our eyes.
The IPCC's work is not done yet. They're still investigating how and why Mark Duggan was shot and killed here on Ferry Lane in the first place. That report is not due for another 2 months, so the community here in Tottenham continues to wait for all the answers. Only then will the community that rose up in anger to start last summer's riots be able to assess whether the killing of Mark Duggan was justified. David Bowden, Sky News in Tottenham.
Our crime correspondent Martin Brunt joins me now from Tottenham. Plenty of apologies today, but we don't seem to be much the wiser about what really happened here.
Well, no, not everything's been answered, but the explanation given in this IPCC investigation for why the Metropolitan Police didn't send a senior officer to break the news formally to Mr Duggan's parents was that on the day they relied on what they were told by one of their junior officers, a family liaison officer. He had been at the scene of the shooting talking to Mark Duggan's sister and his partner Simone, you heard in David's report. This family liaison officer told officers, senior officers, that he was 99% sure that he had told those two women that it was Mark Duggan. And in those circumstances, those two women responded to him saying, well, don't bother sending anybody else round to the house, it will be too upsetting. We will break the news to Mark's mum and dad. Now, the family have since said to the IPCC investigators that none of that exchange with that family liaison officer took place at the scene of the shooting, and when they left, they still didn't know whether or not Mark Duggan had been the victim. And the police accept that that's how the confusion arose, and they accept that whatever this family liaison officer says he told them, they still should have sent a senior officer round to the family.
Thanks, Martin. Network Rail is facing an